Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Hello, how are you all?
Oh, well, good.
All right, if we're ready, we'll get started. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Judge Regina Mincy, and we're going to begin our Fulton County State Court Expedited Accusations calendar. This is a calendar for cases in which individuals have recently been arrested and charged with certain misdemeanor offenses. Soon after their arrest, the Fulton County Solicitor General's office has already accused the cases of the offenses brought against them, and the case has been bound over to the Fulton County State Court. Nevertheless, this will usually be the defendant's initial appearance before state court judge, so we are able to address several matters, including bond, possible arraignment, and a possible plea offer if one has been made by the state at this juncture. I'll also be providing you with the reset date for SAP. What is that date, Michael?
4/27.
April 27th. All right, reset date is April 27th. I want to begin by advising everyone that this whole entire proceeding is being recorded as well as live streamed on YouTube. So govern yourselves accordingly. I will also remind the defendants that you do have certain constitutional rights. The first being that you have the right to have representation with you at this juncture, and you should know who your attorneys are at this point. I want to also remind you that you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you state about the facts, circumstances, or the occurrences of your case can and will be held against you. So please listen to your attorneys in that regard. All right, we will get started. Who do we have first, Deputy?
Your Honor, in front of you, we got position number 14, Mr. Randall Waldrop.
Okay. All right, this is case number 23 CR 002318B, Randall Waldrop. You're charged with one count of criminal trespass, a second count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, both with the offense date of April 13, 2023. Pre-trial? Oh, I see. Hold 1 second.
You waiting on me?
Mhm. Where are you?
Who are we on? I don't know, someone on the video.
Position 14.
What's the name?
Oh, Randall Waldrop.
Oh, Walter, hold on. Hold on. Resident of Jacksonville, Alabama, on probation out of Franklin County for terrorist threats. 2019, they gave Waldrop 4 years, 7 months probation. I'm gonna give you the Georgia history first. 2021, obstruction, criminal trespass. Trespass was a conviction. 2021, failure to appear. Got 2020 probation. 2020 ag assault battery DV. It just says accusation, but I think it was later dismissed. 2020 probation. 2020 simple assault dismissed. Another 2020 probation and another one. I got a simple battery DV disorderly conduct conviction 2019 out of Athens, Clark County. 2019 probation. Calls or otherwise contacts 911, failure to hang up. That was a conviction 2019. Well, I feel like we just had this person. 2019 probation. Does he got a lot?
Okay, I believe you. All right. Stay.
Yes, Your Honor. So this case happened on April 13, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. Officers were responding to a criminal trespass at 232 Forsyth Street. That's the Greyhound bus station. Upon arrivals, officer made contact with an individual later identified as a defendant, and he was not wearing a shirt and was sitting on the floor. Security officers were asking the defendant multiple times to please leave the premise. However, the defendant refused, stating that he had a bus ticket when it turns out he actually did not have a bus ticket. Officers had to pull him out of the bus station, and while the officer was pulling him, the defendant grabbed onto a pole and hunched onto the pole, and the officer, trying to reason with him, allowed him to pull up his pants. However, he refused to pull up his pants. At that time, officers had to employ their taser twice in his back to get him to comply. Your Honor, you have heard about all of the FTAs and the probation violations that this defendant has had, including with the open cases in Athens for the simple battery and the probation in Franklin County. More importantly, this defendant is a resident of Jacksonville, Alabama. Therefore, we anticipate that he is a flight risk. Therefore, the state is asking for a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 per charge, a stay away from 2324 Forsyth Street, which is the Greyhound bus station, no drugs, alcohols, or weapons, and a MHET.
Right. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. He is 45 years old, actually. 35 years old. I'm sorry. He is actually living in Alabama. I was able to speak to his sister, and apparently March 2017, he had a very bad auto accident. And ever since then, he is not able to work. He completed up to 9th grade for his education. That's the highest education that he could get. And yet he has been getting government paycheck for his disability. However, he is still not able to manage finance well enough to sustain his residence. So currently he is residentially challenged. He wants to go back to Alabama, where his sister resides. He lost his parents not that long ago, and
I went to 12th grade and I'm 36.
Sir, Mr. Waldrop, you cannot speak right now. Do not interrupt.
Told me to,
So I was actually going to ask for social worker services to get BHET, behavioral health evaluation and treatment done as well, to make sure that to verify his competency. I do not know whether he needs MHET at this point. I object to that, since it's kind of like a little too early to determine that. So we would like to request for signature on bond with social worker visit. Thanks.
All right. I'm going to order the $2,000 surety bond. That's $1,000 on each charge. I'm going to order a stay away from 232 Forsyth Street, which is the Greyhound bus station. Not to go back there, Mr. Waldrop, if you make bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I am inclined to order the MHET, although I've not heard a whole lot of evidence of it. One would maybe think that it might be indicated by his actions. Certainly want behavioral health to interview him. For the moment now, let's just do BHET instead.
Yes.
And see if they determine anything. You could send a motion later if we find out more, okay?
Yes.
All right, that will be it for this case.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Petition number 1, please, in courtroom number 3. This is 23 CR 00 2321Y. Is it Sienna Anthony? You're charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. The offense date is April 13, 2023. Pretrial.
First arrest.
Okay. State?
Yes, Your Honor. This offense date took place on April 13th, 2023 at 2800 MLK Junior Drive, Southwest in Atlanta, Georgia. Officers responded to a dispute call. There they made contact with the victim in the case of Mr. Kwame Garcia. He stated that he and the defendant, they share a child, and that the defendant was visiting his home that day from Savannah. He stated that while in the bedroom that Miss Anthony, the defendant, grew upset, angry, saying that Mr. Garcia was cheating on her. While he was laying in the bed, the defendant struck him in the chest with a closed fist and then stood up and then attempted and kicked him in the neck. The victim complained of neck soreness. Officers didn't observe any visible injuries. The defendant stated to the officers that she was upset and that she did confirm that she did strike him with a punch. Our office has had the ability to speak to Mr. Garcia, and I do believe he is on the call. From our conversations, he has stated that he doesn't have a problem with the defendant coming back into the home. The state does have concerns, though, with the not being the requisite cooling down period. This just happened yesterday. And then also whenever there's a child involved or the question of infidelity, the emotions are high, Your Honor. We do have some concerns about the attempt to strike the victim in the throat. So the state's recommendation in this case is a $2,500 surety bond, 1 day of anger awareness to stay away from the incident location, to have no further contact with the victim, and to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. PD Wills?
Your Honor, if we could speak from the alleged victim first, if possible.
All right, is the victim Kwame Garcia on Zoom? Kwame Garcia. All right. Mr. Garcia, do you wish to address the court?
No, I don't have anything to say. The prosecutor basically, summed up everything that happened.
Okay. All right. We appreciate your time for signing on. And if you don't want to address the court, I'll have the PD's office go ahead now, okay? All right.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Anthony is 22 years old. This is her first arrest. She states that she is currently residing in Savannah and she was visiting Atlanta. So she does not reside with Mr. Garcia. She has 2 children, a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old. She is employed by Greenbrier Children's Center as an infant caregiver. And both of her children also go there for care, Your Honor. My client states that she has been dealing with postpartum depression. The incident that occurred, it did occur as a result of Mr. Garcia and possibly infidelity. My client has no other income than her employment as an infant caregiver, which is only about $1,300 a month. And my client also states that she is currently enrolled in parenting courses as well as counseling. And so we would object to the 1-day anger awareness. We would request a signature on bond at this time, Your Honor, and it just be ordered that Ms. Anthony continue with whatever courses she's currently enrolled in as far as her counseling and parenting. Thank you.
All right, but she resides in Savannah and works in Savannah.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do we know she's going to be going back to Savannah?
Yes, she states she is living with her mother in Savannah. That's whom she lives with.
All right. I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond through, can I do pretrial?
She live in Savannah, right?
Does it have to be through the jail?
Would be best. Because they have started back coming in, seeing clients.
Some of them have.
Yeah.
All right, I will do the $3,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order a stay away. Is it 2800 Martin Luther King Drive?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to order no further contact with the victim, Kwame Garcia.
If there's to be visitation, needs to be done through a third party contact. And yes, there hasn't necessarily been the ample cooling down, but I am assuming, what I've heard, that the defendant will be going back to Savannah. So I presume she will get her children and go back to Savannah, so she cannot be around Mr. Garcia. And she needs to stay away from his location, stay in Savannah so they can cool out and cool off and work things out. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And to continue with her counseling that she's been in. Is there anything else that I need to address, counsel?
The only thing I did not ask is whether or not my client has any belongings at Mr. Garcia's home, and if she does, if she could be allowed a one-time police escort to pick up anything that she may have there.
All right. Can you hear me, Miss Anthony?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any personal belongings or items that you need to retrieve from Mr. Garcia's home?
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay. I will order a one-time law enforcement escort to that property to retrieve any personal belongings that you may have there, as well as to, I'm assuming, pick up your children and then head back to Savannah, okay? But make sure you get a police escort when you go there. All right, there's nothing else that'll conclude this case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Yes.
can we have Ms. Wills call courtroom 2 to speak to position number 4, Ms. Melanie Frazier, and I'll proceed with Ms. Kim and the
Okay.
cases.
Sounds good.
Ms. Wills, call 404-612-2392. Ms. Frazier is waiting at the phone.
All right, thank you. Will do.
Thank you. And next in front of you, Your Honor, we have position number 8, Ms. McMillan. Ms. McMillan.
All right. This is 23 CR 002326G. Yamashita McMillan, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. The offense date is April the 13th, 2023. Pretrial.
7 total. 2019 failure to appear, trespass. 2014 probation. She recommended.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place yesterday, April 13, 2023 at 345 Ashwood Avenue Southwest, Your Honor. That is the Betmer Village Senior Housing. Officers responded to a fight in progress. There they met with Miss Rowena Jones. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly, who stated that her granddaughter, Miss McMillan, was not supposed to be on the property herself, and that the property management had already communicated to Miss McMillan that she was no longer allowed to stay there. A defendant was previously criminally trespassed on April 6th of 2023. We were able to make contact with Miss Jones and her son concerning the situation with the defendant. And it was communicated to us that Miss Jones is 85 years old and living at that senior citizen facility. They have no hopes that if Miss McMillan is released, that she will not come back to that location, and that it's a part of it is that she's not being compliant with medications that have been prescribed to her. Without getting too deep into that, that her returning back to that location puts Miss Jones is staying there in jeopardy. They're requesting a stay away from the incident location. Your Honor, the state's recommendation in this case is a $3,000 surety bond to stay away from the incident location and to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
What
And we've
about,
spoke, we've spoken to Miss Jones and her son, Mr. Jones. They've communicated with us that they probably will not be available for the call, but we'd obviously sound for them. I can't tell if they're on the call or not.
all right, Ms. Rowena Jones? Anybody connected with the McMillan case or with Jones? And what about, what's the state's recommendation on your contact?
No further contact with the victim, Your Honor. This is a criminal trespass, so she wasn't listed as a victim, but they are requesting to stay away from that location.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
all right, thank you. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Macmillan is 40 years old. She was born here in Georgia. And it is so unfortunate that she cannot have a visit to her own grandmother, who is 85 years old. She prefers to have a no further violent contact, and yet we do understand the stay away, and we don't want to jeopardize Miss Jones' residency at all. She has not been able to get a job for the last 7 years after successfully completing her high school. And indeed, she is getting resources about her housing from our social worker, and she is recommended for competence calendar by our social worker. So that's what we would like to recommend. Thanks. And about the criminal trespass, she is recommended. So we would like for signature on bond or keep the current $1,000 good bond as is. Even that will be no bond for her. She has no funds to pay for any bonds, and she does not have anybody else to pay for her bond right now. Thanks.
Okay. I'm going to order $4,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order stay away from the 345, is it Ashford Avenue? Or
Yes, Your Honor.
Bedford Village Senior Housing. I need you to stay away, Ms. McMillan. They do not want you back there. No further contact with Rowena Jones. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that will be it. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, that will conclude this case.
You done. Jones. Next, we have position number 7, Mr. Devopia Jones or Devopia Jones.
Okay. This is case number 23 CR 002327J. Devopia Jones, charged with 1 count of battery family violence. Offense date December the 5th, 2022. Pretrial?
37 total. 2019 FTA, NOLO. 2019 parole violation, 2016 parole, 2013 probation, 2012 probation. He had a capital case that was, I think, not presented to a grand jury from 03. So that's it. Oh, he got an open, well, yeah, that's it.
Sure, okay.
I'm done.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. This offense date is December 5th, 2022. It took place at 356 Alatuna Place here in Atlanta, Georgia. Officers responded to a battery call that they met with the victim in this case, a Miss Ontrese Williams. That's spelled, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing the first name. This is spelled Onetreece. Grady EMS was also on the scene as well. Miss Williams stated that Mr. Jones and her, they used to live together at this incident location and other locations. And she stated that around 6 a.m. that morning, Mr. Jones came to the location upset about a phone number that he had saw in the victim's phone. Defendant felt like the victim was seeing someone else. She stated that is when the verbal altercation started, and Mr. Jones then grabbed Miss Williams by the neck and threw her to the ground. Mr. Jones then got on top of the victim and began kicking her in the head with his feet. Officers observed visible contusions and bruising on the victim's forehead and chin. Your Honor, the state has some major concerns about risk of reoffending. He has several violent convictions as a criminal history dating back from 1997. There's also a fear of intimidation of the witness as they have a relationship. The defendant knows where the victim lives. We also have a concern about his responsiveness to the legal orders as he has several probation violations. He also has a parole violation as well. Also, we see failure to appear often throughout his history. Your Honor, our office was able to make contact with the victim, and I do believe that she is on the call. Since this incident took place yesterday, we've had some concerns with people associated with the defendant making contact with the victim herself and the victim's daughter, making threats. She explained to us that there's been other incidences between them that got physical, Your Honor. With that in mind, and I do believe that if she is on the call, she has intentions to be here on the call. So we would ask that she be sounded and allowed to speak. The state's recommendation in this case is a $7,500 surety bond, stay away from the incident location, for him to have no further contact with the victim or the victim's family. That is indirect or direct, nobody from his side associated with the defendant to have any contact with anyone associated with the victim. 1-day anger awareness, and to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to hear from the alleged victim if she's on first.
Okay. Antrese Williams on?
Yes, it's pronounced one trees.
Wintree? Okay, sorry about that. Yes, would you like to address the court?
Yes,
Okay. Hold on. If you want to address the court, I'm going to have to swear you in first.
Okay.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay, you put your hand down. Are you in fear of Mr. Jones? Yes or no?
I mean, yes. Yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me about this incident?
When I called the police out on March the 25th, I believe so. I was out on vacation.
Okay,
And Mr. Jones.
hold on. March the 25th, I have the offense date here is December the 5th.
Yes, that is that, but it's a recent altercation that just recently happened.
Okay, well, he's not being charged with that today. I'm not here for that.
Okay.
I need to hear about the December incident.
Okay, yeah, well, that's exactly what happened. He actually had my vehicle and he came back into the house that morning. And that's when he questioned me, asking me who was the person, what do I think my punishment should be? And then from there, he walked up to me and started choking me. Both of his hands on my neck. We even fell down to the floor on the ground. And that's when I called my daughter as well. And she came in busting through the room and he kicked me in the head and left out of the house. So that's with that incident there.
Okay, so you all were living together at this Alatoona place?
He wasn't living with me then. I was still dealing with him though. Mr. Davakia left my home, 2 years ago, I want to say, 1.5 years, 2 years ago. But no, ma'am, he wasn't living there.
Okay, and is that where you live?
Yes, me and my kids, me and my 2 daughters.
All right, I don't have any other questions. Any cross-examination, Ms. McLeod?
No, Your Honor.
A cross-examination, State?
No, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Williams.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Ms. McLeod.
Mr. Jones is 43 years old, Your Honor. He is a native of Atlanta, and he is the father of a 17-year-old son. He tells me that he is gainfully employed. He has his own company doing landscaping, and he also does other forms of work involving home maintenance and so on. I understand that my client does have some history, Your Honor, but it is remote. He's not had any recent arrests or any kind of recent criminal activity on his record. And also, he and the complaining witness do not share any children and they do not live together. My client has given me a separate address where he lives. My client denies that he attacked the alleged victim, as was stated by the prosecution, Your Honor. He maintains that it was more of a mutual situation and not that he just walked up to her and attacked her. He denies that that is what happened, Your Honor. Given the fact that this happened in December, I believe it was, I thought it was the 5th of December, but it is some time ago, Your Honor, and they do not live together. I would ask that the court give my client a signature bond, and if the court is disinclined to do that, a low bond so he can get out of jail and continue with his life. Because even though he knows where the victim lives, they are not interacting together, and there's no reason for them to interact together because they do not share any children, and he doesn't live there. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to issue a $5,500 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the Alatoona Place address. I'm going to order no further contact with Andres Williams. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I guess that will be it for this case. Anything else, counsel?
Your Honor, specifically, there's been, since this incident has happened, there's been communications between people from the defendant's side, making threats to people from the victim side. I would just ask that there be some type of language in the bond order, specifically stating that there be no contact, direct or indirect, to anyone from the victim or the victim's family, specifically her daughters.
Okay. So that will be, is no further contact with the victim or the victim's daughters. And, you know, the other language on this bond, that defendant to have no contact indirectly or directly with any victim or the victim's family members, professional, personal, close associate, whether by phone, mail, email, pager, or any writing, signs, notes, or message. So
Thank you, Your Honor.
I think that that paragraph would include all of that. Okay.
How much was that?
That was 5,500. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Uh-huh.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 4, Ms. Melanie Frazier.
It's 23 CR 002319E, Melanie Frazier, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, 2nd count of willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, offense date April the 14th, 2023.
Ready.
I'm sorry?
I said, are you ready?
Yes.
Second arrest. Last arrest was back in May out of Alpharetta. Burglary in the 1st degree. Felony theft by receiving. That's a 22 CP 208907. That's open.
Okay. All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident took place on April 13th, 2023, when officers responded to a domestic dispute call. Upon arrival, officers spoke with Mr. Anthony Kellogg, common spelling, which is the defendant's stepfather, who advised officers that he and the defendant got into an argument, and the defendant was asked to leave. However, before she left, the defendant knocked over a flower plant and a lamp inside of the property. Later that night, that the defendant returned and began banging on the door. Both of her parents, her her biological mother and then her stepfather said that they did not want to let her in because she was intoxicated. Upon not getting an answer at the door, the defendant went to the window and began kicking the window until she broke it. And then once officers arrived, she refused to put her hands behind her back and ran into the bedroom. Therefore, the state is requesting a $2,500 surety bond, which is going to be $1,500 on the willful obstruction and $1,000 on the criminal trespass. No further contact with Anthony Kellogg or Stephanie Kellogg, and that's at the direct request of the victims, Your Honor. No alcohol, drugs, or weapon, and a stay away from 520 Governor Circle, which is in Roswell, which is also the incident location, and that again comes at a direct request of the victims as well.
All right. PD Wills?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Frazier is 21 years old. She does not have an objection to the stay away condition, nor the no further contact provision. She states that she will be moving from that residence, and that she has, she plans to live with a friend, but she does not know that friend's address off the top of her head, but she does not intend to return back to that property. She would request a one-time police She
Go
would
ahead.
a one-time police escort to pick up her belongings from the premises. She reports that she is from Florida originally, but has been in Georgia for 18 years. And since she's only 21, that is the majority of her life. She states she is a kitchen manager at Chipotle. However, she does qualify for our services, and she has been working with Chipotle since December. She does not have any children, and she does deny the allegations and states that she was paying bills at the property where she was staying with her parents. So in light of that, Your Honor, we would request a signature on bond. My client has no other convictions, and she reports that prior arrest is for possession of stolen property.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may, if we could just sound for the victims, I don't see them on the call. I just want to sound for them just to give them their
Okay.
rights.
Is that Anthony or Stephanie Kellogg? Anthony Kellogg. Don't think they're on the Zoom. All right, I am going to order a $2,500 signature bond, and I will order that through the jail. And that will be $1,000 in the criminal trespass, $1,500 on the willful obstruction. I'm going to order a stay away from 520 at Governor's Circle. I'm going to order no further contact with Anthony or Stephanie Kellogg. I'm going to order, she need a one-time police escort to retrieve any personal items.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
All right. That will conclude this case.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 9, Mr. Demetrius Nix.
Okay. This 23 CR 002328B, Demetrius Nix charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence, 1 count of obstructing or hindering persons making emergency telephone calls. The offense date is October 8, 2022. Pretrial.
23 total. On probation, Henry County, theft by taking, trespass. Got a 2021 trespass, theft by taking conviction, 2021 ag assault, cruelty to children. 2021 failure to appear, 2017 obstruction, NOLO. 2016 giving false name, obstruction, conviction. 2009 ag assault conviction. And 2009 false imprisonment battery DV conviction. That's it.
State.
Thank you, Your Honor. This offense date took place on October 8th, 2022 at 183 Oak Cliff Court, Northwest in Atlanta, Georgia. Officers respond to a fight in progress. Upon arrival, officers met with the victim in this case, Miss Denisha Sharp. She stated that her and the father of her children, Demetrius Nix, had gotten into a dispute over saying she was going to leave him. After saying she was going to leave, he then punched her in the back of the head, and then when she tried to call the police, he slammed her to the floor. Mr. Nix also took her phone and Apple Watch to prevent her from calling law enforcement. The victim waited for the defendant to leave and then went to her neighbors so she could call the police. Officers, because of the punch in the back of the head, officers didn't observe visible injuries. Your Honor, the state has some major concerns with the allegations themselves, also with the risk of reoffending in light of the defendant's criminal history and having several violent related arrests and convictions, also a prior battery on his record. There's also the intimidation of witnesses, with the victim sharing a child with the defendant, and also with the defendant knowing where the victim lives. Your Honor, we have spoken to the victim in this case, Ms. Sharp, and I do see that she is on the call. We would ask that we would down for her and give her the opportunity to speak. But Your Honor, there is some concerns in light of the nature of the offenses and the criminal history. As such, the state's recommendation in this case is a total $5,000 surety bond, $2,500 on count one, simple battery.
All right.
Hi, am I able to speak now?
Hold on 1 second. Raise your right hand for me so I can swear you in. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes,
All right. And are you in fear of Mr. Nix?
not at all.
All right. Is there anything else you want the court to know briefly?
Yes, I do want to know, let them know that Mr. Nix never physically took my phone or my Apple Watch. I handed them over to him because he purchased them. That was in the midst of us having a breakup moment. Mr. Nix did not actually punch me in the head. When I later calmed down and we looked back on our camera footage in our living room, it was actually one of our furniture pieces that fell down. And I apologize to him. I apologize to the courts, you all, for the misunderstanding. We do not have any other counts of him ever being physically violent. Since the incident, Mr. Nix and I have legally married in November on the 24th. We share 3 children together, all of them under the age of 2 twin boys that are premature and very fragile in health. Mr. Nix is the breadwinner in our home. I am unemployed, a full-time mother. We have not had any verbal disagreements or physical disputes at all. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. All right. Any cross-examination by the state? Can't hear you, Deputy Falk.
My apologies, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Igbey's power went out briefly, so he is reconnecting. But in the meantime, Ms. Sharp Nix, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. So just to ask really quickly, my understanding is, did you actually call the police on October 8th of 2022, or did someone else?
I called them.
Okay. And when you were trying to, it appears in the report, it says when you were trying to run to the neighbor's house, he slammed you to the floor. Is that correct?
No.
Okay. Is that what you told the police?
I don't recall if I said slam at all.
Okay. Can you tell me why you called the police? Maybe that would help us.
At the time we had a dispute. One of our twin boys was released from the NICU and one was still there. So it was very emotionally and physically overwhelming for me. I'm also diagnosed with major depressive disorder, as well as I was going through postpartum at the time. And I also suffer from PTSD outside of my relationship with Mr. Nix. So when we had a verbal disagreement and I felt like my thoughts and actions weren't being heard, certain words triggered me to another place, and I felt like he was trying to attack me, not knowing that my actions was causing me to be harmed by myself. I was never slammed by Mr. Nix. We actually have video surveillance cameras around our entire house, outside and inside. So when we later had a conversation after the police left and everything, and I was able to calm down and get my anxiety under control, we look back on the footage in which I felt completely stupid because I assumed that he did things to me that he did not. And I was very apologetic to him for that.
Okay, so you're also denying that he took your Apple Watch when you tried to call the police?
Yes, I'm denying that because only thing he said was, if you're gonna leave, then go ahead and go. Just give me the things I paid for. And I said, all right. He didn't take anything from me physically, like forced it.
So you didn't end up having to go to a neighbor's house to call police?
Yes, I did go to the neighbor's house, but that was after my decision to already give him back his A4 belongings.
Okay, but at that time, you felt concerned enough, even after you gave back your belongings, to then go to a neighbor's house and call the police. Is that what I'm understanding?
I wasn't concerned. I was just upset.
Okay, but nevertheless, you went to a neighbor's house, you called police, isn't that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Nix is 39 years old and he has been here in Georgia all his life. He has a friends and family. Of course, Miss Sharpie Nix is now his wife, and he also has 14 children. He's a proud father of 14 kids, Your Honor. He has been working as a tree service worker for last 17 years, and he's a sole provider, financially responsible for his children and his wife. We would like to request for a signature on bond and ask for no further violent contact since they have been living together. This happened about 6 months ago, so it has been enough cooling period of time. We would like to request for no further violent contact. Thank you.
And Your Honor, I will just add that when Ms. Sharp Nix spoke to our victim advocate and our victim advocate read her the warrants, including the fact that she was slammed to the ground, she agreed that the statements in the warrants were true. So there's been a marked change from this morning in her conversation with Ms. Cheney, and we are we will be checking the jail calls to see if there has been any influencing of this witness. Thank you.
Okay.
May I respond to that?
Real briefly.
I confirmed that I was aware of the incident and the calls. I never confirmed whether they were true or not.
Okay. All right. Again, this is not your trial or not the trial of the case. This is a bond hearing. So let me go ahead and give my ruling. I'm going to order the $5,000 surety bond, $2,500 on each charge. I'm going to order a no further violent contact with Janisha Sharp. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And that's all I'll order for now, since this event occurred in October. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
I'm sorry?
Was it no further contact? Because I currently live there and I pay bills there, so I don't know.
It's no further violent contact.
Okay. Well, we don't have violence anyway, Your Honor. We cool.
Please, Mr. Nix.
No.
All right.
All right, good luck to you.
All right. Next, Your Honor, we have position number 10, Mr. Lamaris Petty. I think that's it, right?
All right, 23 CR 002320A, Lamar's Petty, charge of 1 count of simple battery, family violence, a 2nd count of criminal trespass, family violence. The offense date is June the 8th, 2021. Pre-trial,
21 total. 2012 battery conviction. 2010 terrorist threats conviction. Yeah, that's all I wrote down.
okay. All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred on June 8th of 2021. Around 9:15, officers were responding to a physical altercation between the defendant and his mother, Miss Elaine Love. Miss Elaine Love is 67 years of age. Ms. Love advised officers that they were arguing over the fact she would not allow him to use her vehicle. The defendant became angry and started to throw things and punch holes in the wall. He then pushed Miss Love to the ground and eventually left. He also broke her clock and a food tray. Miss Love also had a bump on her head and a scratch on her chest. Mr. Petty informed officers that he blacked out and admitted to throwing and breaking some items. I did see a FTA in 2001, Your Honor, and a probation violation in 2010. There is a theft by receiving stolen property arrest, Your Honor. For that, we are going to ask for a $5,000 surety bond, $2,500 on each count. No further contact with the victim, Miss Elaine Love, and to stay away from the 1877 Brandywine Street, no drugs, alcohols, or weapons. The victim, Miss Love, is on the call, Your Honor, so the appropriate time at the court can sound for her.
All right, Ms. Love, do you wish to address the court today? I can't hear you. You're on mute. Still can't hear you. You see the little red microphone to press that? All right, if we can't get you talking and to hear you, I'll have to move along.
You're on mute, Miss Love?
I'm sorry.
No, I was telling her she's on mute.
Yeah, I still can't hear you.
I think she's aware of it. She probably doesn't know how to operate.
She just doesn't know how to, all right. All right, we'll go ahead. PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Petty is 44 years old. He was born here in Georgia. And Your Honor, even after this incident that happened about 2 years ago, they have lived together at 1877 Brandywine Street. His mother and he have reconciled and they are having a good relationships right now. They live together. So we would like to request for no further violent contact. It has been very remote and all those charges that are very remote, 2010, 2012, 2001, more than 10 years ago, Your Honor. My client was indeed incarcerated for other charge at Cobb County, and he has been unemployed due to his incarceration. So he does not have any money to pay for bond. So he does need to have a signature on bond. He has 4 children and 2 of them are minors. And he has studied up to 10th grade in high school. We would like to request for maximum $1,000 good bond for each charge if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond. Thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may, I spoke with our victim witness advocate. And what I believe Ms. Love would have testified is that she's not fearful of the defendant, and that she has some health concerns. And she kind of needs him to assist her with that. So we're not opposed to no further violent contact.
Okay. All right, and no stay away.
No, because he actually lives with her, and if he's gonna be assisting and taking care of her due to her health concerns.
Okay. All right. Anything else, PD Kim?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to order a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm gonna order no further violent contact with Elaine Love. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I guess that'll be it for now.
I got it. I'm sorry. I finally figured it out. I'm so sorry.
All right, Ms. Love, a lot of feedback. We have to move along. Gotten a signature bond.
I'm hearing an echo.
Okay, so he's adding the bond. Say again, I can hear you.
I'm hearing the echo. I don't know. I'm hearing the echo. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a terrible echo.
Okay, I can hear you.
Terrible echo.
And I want to
Oh,
tell
you can't. Can you?
Officer Norris.
Oh,
She has two devices.
Oh, Ms. Love, you have 2 devices on.
Is that 2,500 per charge?
Yes, 2,500 per charge. All right, so that's a $5,000 signature bond, 2,500 each through the jail. No further violent contact with Elaine Love. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. Thank you.
Yes. Position number 11, Your Honor, Mr. Rashid Reed.
All right, this is 23 CR 002315A. Rashid Reed charged with 1 count of theft by receiving stolen property. Offense date April 13, 2023.
You got over
Pretrial.
50 total. Over 50. You got open shoplifting on probation, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. Attempting to remove a weapon from a public official. It's 21 SC 179215. He got history out of North Carolina as well as Georgia. He got 40 cycles out of North Carolina. He got a 2017 habitual larceny charge. That was a conviction. 2017 failure to appear. What else? 2016 felony larceny conviction. 2013 possession of a Schedule 2. That's for the North Carolina history. As far as Georgia, last arrest was back in July, failure to appear out of Fulton County. June, failure to appear out of Cobb. Simple battery against police. That goes with their probation charge. 2019 fugitive from justice. 2019 shoplifting. I'll leave it at that.
All right. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. So on April 13th, officers responded to a larceny auto at 79 West Paces Ferry Road, in which the victim, Mr. Prentice McGee, informed officers that his parked vehicle was broken into around 11:39. He informed officers that the following items were missing: 1 black book bag containing Versace and Ray-Ban sunglasses, a MacBook Pro, a MacBook Air, and an iPad Mini, and a Canon digital camera, and that the left window was how they accessed the vehicle. The defendant was found asleep in a public restroom at Piedmont Park, with the AirPods in the bag under his body. So Your Honor has heard about the numerous amount of FTAs, how this defendant is a multi-state offender. So at this time, we are asking for a $2,500 surety bond. Stay away from 2436 Omaha Road. That's it from the state, Your Honor.
All right, that's it. Okay. And then what was the recommended bond amount?
Yes, Your Honor, 2,500 surety bond.
Okay. All right. PB Kim?
Yes, Mr. Reed is 48 years old, Your Honor. He was born in North Carolina, and he's been here in Georgia. He has been residentially challenged, so he has been staying at Piedmont Park and Crossroad program. He gets mail service there, PO Box 55397. He's been in and out of program for about 6 months. He denies the allegation, and he has been unemployed. So he does not have any funds to pay for any bond at this point. So we would like to request for a signature on bond. And if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond because of histories, we would like to keep $1,000 good bond that is already set there for theft by receiving the stolen property. We would like to keep that $1,000 good bond. Thank you.
I'm going to order a $2,000 surety bond. Gonna order a stay away from 79 West Paces Ferry Road. Is that Piedmont Park?
I believe so.
No, Your Honor.
Oh,
No.
I don't believe so. I can check really quick.
oh, so that's just a location near there.
That's just a location, yes, where the car was broken into.
Oh, okay. And so then there's the, what's it, 2436 Omaha Road?
Yes, Your Honor. That, give me 1 second to confirm.
Okay.
My apologies, Your Honor. That Omaha Road is not an address. So we're gonna do the Piedmont Park and the West Paces Ferry.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so stay away from those two locations.
What's the
79 West Paces Ferry Road and Piedmont Park.
In Piedmont Park, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, gotcha. And then no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And that should be it. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing further from defense.
All right. That'll conclude this matter.
Your Honor, what was that bond amount again? I apologize.
That's okay. $2,000 surety bond.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And next we have position number 12, Mr. Anthony Reynolds.
This is 23 CR 002316D. Anthony Reynolds charged with 1 count of battery. Offense date is April the 5th, 2023. Pre-trial.
13 total. My last arrest was 2016, driving without a valid license. Before that was 2004, possession of cocaine. I didn't go past 2004 when I saw that, so
Okay. All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. So officers responded to a dispute call on April 5th of 2023 at 589 Joseph Elari Boulevard to a dispute call. Officers met with the victim, Miss Sabrina Brown, Subrina, Brown, common spelling. Miss Brown advised that she was assaulted by the defendant and that he was in the truck. The defendant struck her with a garbage can lid. Officers observed lacerations to the victim's right arm. And originally, the defendant fled, but then once the defendant returned back, that's when she called off the police to have him arrested and wanted to press charges. The victim and the defendant have a relationship, and the victim did state to our victim witness advocate that she is still in love with the defendant, and she actually refused medical treatment. So we think that there's a high risk of intimidation here, Your Honor. The flight risk, of course, when the original incident happened, the defendant did flee. So we are asking for a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with Sabrina Brown, that's the victim, and to stay away from 589 Joseph Laurie Boulevard. And we will ask at the appropriate time. I don't see the victim, but if the court could sound for the victim.
All right, and Sabrina Brown. Sabrina Brown. All right, she's not on. PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Reynolds is 63 years old, and he resides at 587 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard with another roommate, and they are in the lease. And Miss Sabrina Brown, who my client believes she is an ex-girlfriend long time ago. They don't have a relationship anymore. However, she occasionally visits my client, and that's what happened on April 5. My client did not have any intention to flee. He was not aware of this kind of charge that was made. My client denies the allegation, Your Honor. He is working at Metro Discount Signs as a laborer. He has been working there for about 1.5 years, and he has successfully completed high school as well. He receives Social Securities and government benefits as he half retired as a 63 years old. We would like to request for a signature on bond. There was no violence offense in the past, and this is the false allegation my client denies. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to order the $3,000 surety bond. I'm going to order stayaways at 580 Joseph Lowry Boulevard, and no further contact with the victim, Sabrina Brown.
Your Honor, Miss Sabrina Brown does not reside at 587 Joseph E. Lowry. It is my client who resides there as a lease holder.
Oh, okay.
Can we go there with a law enforcement officer to verify that Miss Brown does not reside there, and then he can return to the location?
Yes. So one-time police escort to that location to retrieve personal belongings is fine.
And if she does not reside, can he reside there?
Sometimes I say that. This just happened on the 5th. And when you go back with your one-time law enforcement escort, Mr. Reynolds, if they don't find any items there belonging to the victim, Sabrina Brown, then you can reside there. If they do find some of her female belongings there, ladies' belongings, and you cannot stay, you have to stay away while you're on bond, okay?
But she had put a lock on the guy who I work for. She put a lock on his truck, and she won't take it off. You don't want her on that truck.
Mr. Reynolds, I'll be happy to call you to explain.
Okay.
Yes, your attorney can help you with some of those matters.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Yeah, our victim witness advocate just informed me that she does not stay there, but just for the record, the address in the warrant is 589, not 587.
Oh, I'm sorry, 589. Okay. Thank you. All right, next.
Next, we have position number 2, Mr. Eddie Arnold, Eddie DeAndre Arnold.
They want that stairway in there, church.
I guess with the previous case, we will take off the stay away as long as the victim is not residing there.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right, position 2, 23 CR 002324H. Eddie Arnold, charged with 1 count of battery, family violence. The offense date is December the 8th, 2022. Pre-trial.
Third arrest. He's out on a $5,000 pretrial bond, you said. 22 CR 008-210H. 2016 disorderly conduct conviction. I'm about to revoke this bond, so it'll be 5,000 on top of whatever you said again.
Mhm.
That's it.
Looks like I issued this bond back in December 2022. And we're back again.
State.
Yes, Your Honor. The offense date on this case is December 8th, 2022. It happened at 1427 Nash Road, Northwest in Atlanta. Officers respond to a fight in progress. There, they made contact with the victim in this case, Miss Ashanti Bass. She stated that her ex-boyfriend had gotten into a physical fight with her in front of their 1-year-old son because she refused to pay his car insurance. Ms. Bass advised that the defendant slammed her on the ground multiple times and pulled on her hair before the defendant eventually drove off. She provided officers with description and a tag of the defendant's car. Officers spoke with a witness who wished to remain anonymous and stated that he observed the defendant and victim both pulling on each other and them fighting. Officers observed a cut to Ms. Bass's right hand and on her pants what appeared as if she had been rolling in mud. Ms. Bass stated that they had a similar situation, the case that we have before us, that event taking place in July of 2022. Your Honor, as already highlighted, there is obviously a risk of reoffending. This is not the first time that this has happened between the defendant and this victim. Also, Your Honor, he does have a simple assault warrant outstanding. He knows where the victim stays. With that in mind, Your Honor, we do have some major concerns about a reoffending and the safety of this victim. With that in mind, Your Honor, the state's recommendation in this case is to the 1 count of $5,000 cash bond, 1-day anger awareness, stay away, no further contact with the victim, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. Whenever he makes bond, Your Honor, we do see Ms. Bass on the call. We would ask to allow her to speak, to sound for her, allow her to speak when at the appropriate time.
Let me chime back in real quick. What's the date of this warrant?
What's the what?
December 8th, 2022.
Because he got arrested December 9th. And that's when he got the pretrial bond. So when did they swear this one out? They must have just sworn it out or something. Because why wasn't he not seen on December 8th when he was here the last time? Hold on, let me read this one.
The previous arrest incident date was 7/11/22.
7/11/22. Okay.
This incident date is 12/8/22.
And 12/8/22 is this one.
And this warrant was signed in October, but he was here December the 8th. So I don't really know if I can even come off this bond because it's not the arrest didn't occur after he was here. Like he should have been here last time based on the date of that warrant. That's all I'm saying. It was signed in October.
If I can be of some assistance.
Please.
Okay, so pretrial is right and wrong. So on the first half, yes, he is correct. The warrant, the defendant was booked into the jail December 9th on his previous case. So there is no bond to revoke because the conditions of the bond were subsequent to this newest case. Because this case happened December 8th, he was arrested December 9th. So they can't retroactively punish him for bond conditions that weren't in place at the time. However, this case's warrant, even though it happened in December, the warrant was taken out February 12th, 2023. So he wasn't in the jail when this warrant was taken out, and then he was later arrested.
Okay, that clears
So that's
it.
why they didn't book him on both warrants. The warrant didn't exist yet.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you for that.
Thank you, Deputy Falk.
Okay. And the victim, Miss Bass. Do you wish
Yes,
to, yes, do you wish to address the court today?
Yes, please.
All right, raise your right hand for me. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, put your hand down. Are you in fear of Mr. Arnold?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and have you all still been residing together?
So temporarily, we had lost our home around the time of the incident. And I live with my mother and he stays at his sister's house. So temporarily, until we find another home, we kind of have worked out a schedule with our children as far as I work mornings, he work nights, and he would watch our first son, our 2-year-old now, in the morning while I'm at work. And then he will also provide transportation for our second son to school. So.
Okay. All right, and you haven't had any incidents since the December 8th?
No, Your Honor.
And so pretrial says there's not a bond revocation? Because it came after?
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. And what was the state's recommendation?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation in this case is in light of the fact that we have a case from July of 2022. There's a previous 2017 simple battery that was reduced down to a disorderly conduct out of the cab. It looked like there was a simple assault warrant. I'm not sure if that's originating from the July incident. That when we looked on his criminal history was showing as outstanding. Your Honor, there is a major concern about the allegations in this case, the facts of this case. The state's recommendation is a $5,000 cash bond, 1-day anger awareness, stay away from the victim and the incident location. I was going to ask Ms. Bass where she's staying now, but there is a major concern, especially when it concerns children, that there's a level of coercion that will make someone wish to have someone who is potentially their abuser in the house or maintain contact because of the coercion of necessity. Ms. Bass respectfully didn't mention or say anything about the fact that these allegations are not true. And so fear can motivate anyone to say that they want to have contact with someone, especially if there is financial obligations. So the state is as firm on their position that that until this case is sorted out, that there should be no contact between the defendant to the victim.
Okay. All right. Oh, yes, Ms. Bass.
I'm sorry, may I please elaborate on a few things?
Just a few. This is a bond hearing. This is not the trial.
Yes, ma'am. So I am not quite sure how that would work with no contact because Eddie, he is the sole provider of transportation and as well financial. He has 2 jobs and as well as I work in the morning. And I have his vehicle at the moment, and I'm not sure how that will work if I have to get to work and he has to watch our other son and he has to get our other son to school. And money is very tight as well.
Yeah, I understand. The problem is he was just here. Even though we can't revoke him, he essentially, just because of some dates and issues with that, he's essentially violated. So I don't know how much he cares about that. Doesn't look like it from his actions. So I'm going to,
Your Honor, may I
Oh, I'm
please?
sorry, PD Wills, I apologize. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
My client is 24 years old. As it was stated, this incident occurred back in December of last year. I'm not sure what's going on, why the warrants in both of his cases took several months to be taken out. The one from July, there was no warrant issued until October. And then this incident, there wasn't a warrant issued until February, which is contributing to some of the confusion. But Mr. Arnold reports that he is from Georgia. The one witness that was cited in the facts that were read stated they observed mutual combat between Mr. Arnold and Ms. Bass. They do share children together. Mr. Arnold emphasized that over the phone several times that he does offer financial support or does financially support and care for his children, and that is something that is of great importance to him. He also stated that he has completed his anger management course that was previously ordered, and that he was unaware of this warrant that was issued in February. Mr. Arnold reports he works at CSK Packaging as a warehouse worker, and that he completed up through the 10th grade, and he's been working ever since. As Ms. Bass stated, he is not currently living with Ms. Bass, and it seems like they have made arrangements to care for their children as well as work. So we would object to a cash bond. I would ask for a signature bond, and if your honor is not inclined, I would ask for a $1,500 surety bond.
All right. How many children are there?
2.
What are their ages?
We have a 2-year-old son and as well as a 5-year-old.
Okay. All right, I'm going to order a $10,000 surety bond. I'm going to order a stay away from the residence of the victim. There's to be visitation, and I'm not sure what that residence address is. State aware.
Ms. Bass, could you provide us your new address?
No, I still reside at the same address, 1427.
You know, that's Nash Road, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia.
All right. So stay away from that location. I'm going to order if there's visitation with the children, that be facilitated by a third party to do that exchange so that there are no bond violations. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I guess that will be it for now. With the stay away, of course, there's no further contact with the victim, Ashante Bass, right now, and make sure that they're going to be safe and that there has been some cooling down. So right now, no further contact with the victim, and only to see the children facilitated by a third party and to stay away from her residence. All right, that will be the order of the court. Yes, Ms. Bass, you have a question about the bond conditions?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I hear that you said that he would have to stay away from my residence as well as me directly. I'm not sure how. I mean, I do not fear for my safety, and I do not fear for the safety of my children. So I'm not sure how that will work because I have no one else and I have no one to help me get my children back and forth to school or work. I have no one else, ma'am.
But you don't have a friend or relative or anything here in Georgia, anyone here in Georgia?
I do, ma'am, but anyone refuses to help me. He's all I have.
Well, but the problem is if he's all you have, I'm not sure he believes that, because we've got several incidences here of violence. And we're trying to keep you safe and stop the violence.
Yes, ma'am. And since the incident, like they previously stated, he has completed his anger management courses, and we have had multiple conversations about the incident, and that he promises to not make any more violent actions. That was just at that time because it was out of frustration due to the lack of income coming in, and also, like I previously stated, we lost our home, so it was all out of frustration and money.
Well, when you're frustrated, you can't take your actions out on your significant other. And I don't know if these incidents happen in front of your children, have concerns about what they see and what they hear. And so I just want to make sure that it's over, that it's not going to happen again. And I'm not convinced quite yet. Yeah, that's that. I'm sure, Mr. Arnold, that your attorney does not want you to speak.
Mr. Arnold, I would advise that you do not say anything. The judge has issued her order. If you have any questions about your bond conditions, you can ask that, but anything in regard to the facts of the case, please remain silent.
And I understand your situation, Ms. Bass. You're gonna have to find some help and hopefully get that. His attorney, Mr. Arnold's attorney, can apply for a modification of that bond at a later date. If he hasn't bonded out, he'll come back before the court on April the 27th. But for your own safety and for the safety of the children, I think this will be best right now to make sure that we don't have any more incidents. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Next.
Next, we have position number 3, Ms. Dominique Bowers.
This 23 CR 002322G, Dominique Bowers, charged with 1 count of reckless driving. The offense date is April the 13th, 2023.
32 total. 2018 DUI conviction. 2022 reckless stunt driving arrest. 2021 criminal damage to property. 2021 probation violation. 2020 ag assault, suspended license, trespass, aggressive driving conviction. 2019 another aggressive driving. 2019 reckless conduct, reckless driving. On probation for ag assault, 17 SC 154687. 2019 they gave him 5 years probation for that. I got a probation in Clayton County for ag assault. 2021, they gave him 1 year to serve, 4 years probation. He got several suspended license and driving without valid license convictions. That's it.
All right. State.
Yes, Your Honor. This offense date took place on April 13, 2023. It took place on Lee Street and Ralph David Abernathy in Atlanta, Your Honor. Pretrial has spoke a little bit about his driving history. The officers observed the defendant in this case strike a parked car and then weave in and out of traffic near the East Point MARTA station. The defendant has one of the worst driving histories I've ever seen. Your Honor, that his criminal history is one thing, but the driving history, I can go into it. There's a 2022 erratic lane change where he pled NOLO, a 2019 aggressive driving NOLO accident, a 2019 erratic lane change NOLO, a 2018 impeding flow of traffic accident, a 2019 falling too close guilty accident, a 2018 impeding flow NOLO, 2017 failure to obey stop sign guilty, a 2014 reckless driving, a 2005 reckless driving. Your Honor, his driving, not even getting into his criminal history, just exclusively on his driving history alone, Your Honor, The state's recommendation in this case is a $2,000 surety bond, absolutely no driving except for work, doctor, or to consult with his lawyer, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right, PD Wells.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Bowers is 36 years old. He states he's lived in Georgia for the past 26 years. He's self-employed where he owns a lawn care business. He also works at Del Fresco Steakhouse as a chef, and where he's been employed there for a year and a half. Mr. Bowers reports that he is currently on first offender probation, I believe for those charges that were mentioned, the aggravated assault charges. And he states that when this incident occurred, he was in a rental vehicle, accidentally struck a vehicle that he was driving safe at the time, that he stopped and spoke with law enforcement. And it was once law enforcement saw that he had a warrant for the probation violation, which he reports is just for failure to report, that is when a warrant was taken for the driving offense. So Mr. Bowers is going to be working to resolve those issues. And so we would request a signature on bond for this. And if Your Honor is not inclined, I would request a $1,000 surety bond.
I'm going to order the $2,000 surety bond. I'm going to order no driving except for going to the doctor, medical attention, or court to see his attorney. In order to get to work, he's going to need to take an Uber, Lyft, or bus. I'm not going to allow him to drive to work. I don't know how far that is from where he lives, but that may be too much driving with his history. I don't see how he has a license to drive anyway. I usually say unless they have a valid license issued by DDS, but I don't see how he could have one. But I'm not going to allow him to drive to work. He needs to get a cab or something. Make sure he doesn't kill anybody. And no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I guess that'll be it. Anything else, counsel?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing from the defense.
Thank you.
Next, we have position number 5, Mr. Jason Green. Position number 5.
This is 23 CR 002325C. Jason Green, charged with 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs. Offense date February the 20th, 2023. Pre-trial.
Second arrest. He got an open case in Villa Rica, theft by receiving, possession of a pistol by a person under 18 years of age, reckless conduct, criminal damage to property, and misdemeanor possession of marijuana. That's it.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. The offense date in this case is February 20th, 2023. It took place on Miller Run in Fairburn, Georgia. Officers responded to a suspicious vehicle. Upon arrival, officers made contact with the driver of a blue Toyota Camry. As they approached, the officers observed the windows to be foggy. When they requested the driver roll his windows down, smoke poured out of the vehicle. Officers asked what the driver, later identified as Mr. Jason Green, and his passenger were doing. And he stated that the passenger lives in the neighborhood and they recently got off work. While speaking with Mr. Green, officers observed a small portion of a joint located in the cup holder. When they asked Mr. Green, he confirmed that they had smoked some of it. Officers asked if there was any other drugs within the car, and Mr. Green handed officers a small clear plastic jar that contained marijuana. While searching the car, officers also found a small orange Ziploc bag containing more marijuana. Officers also found a small clear bag inside an orange Ziploc bag that contained what appears to be mushrooms. Officers took out a warrant for possession of dangerous drugs based on the finding the mushrooms, Your Honor. Defendant does have that open case with the possession of marijuana, theft by receiving stolen property, out from Villa Rica. In light of that, and I understand that he does have a limited criminal history, but he is very young to be getting himself in some of these things. The state is requesting a $3,000 surety bond and to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
All right.
And
P.D.
Judge, his
Wills.
mother is on the line.
I'm sorry, that's his mother.
Yes, ma'am.
Screen. Is it, Rafiki Green? Can't hear you.
Yes, this is Miss Green and Rafiki Green.
Okay, you're the parents of Mr. Green?
I am
The
his
mother.
mom and
Oh, I'm sorry. And I saw a gentleman there. I didn't know if it was mom and dad.
His uncle.
his uncle.
Okay, mom and uncle. I usually don't hear from persons who are not on the scene at this stage because it is a bond hearing. I'll give you a few seconds and let me swear you in if you wish to address the court or not. Okay.
I would. You want to swear me in? I'm the
Yes,
mom.
if you wish to address the court, I'll give you a few seconds. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury? Can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. What would you like to tell me?
It's a very difficult time. It has been since the Carrollton incident and our incident. Jason is struggling. He needs not only I'm hoping for the some type of support as far as mentoring and psychological support. Jason also has a full-time job, and at the time, he helps with the household expense. So, and prior to this, I haven't had any problem with Jason. So he's been going through a lot. I as well. I'm hoping that all of this will be a big turnaround in my son's life. My son is gifted and talented. My son has, like I said, never really given me problems at all. Graduated from high school in 2022. And then there was just like all of this all at once. So he looked like he's really, I know he's remorseful. He's lost about half his body size since that incident. So I would hope that you all can offer those not only the bond, some type of mentoring and some type of support for this.
I wish I could offer all of that, but I do hope that you would seek those things out in your community and maybe talk to some persons in the community or even with Fulton County to see about getting them in some of those programs because they are beneficial and there are some programs out there. I just can't necessarily order or recommend any. Jason is how old?
Jason he made 19 in December. He graduated in 2023, so he's a December baby. So he graduated when he was 18, but he just made 19 in December.
Okay. Yeah, he's very young and we don't want to see him back here anymore. So I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond. Can I do that the pretrial? And
I mean, it's an open case, so it's on you.
I'd like to do that $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. I'm not excited about his open case. And so we need to find out what's going on and how we can provide assistance so that he doesn't go down this road anymore or doesn't continue down this road.
Yes, ma'am.
No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And he'll have to report into pretrial. They'll tell you that. He's 19. Does he need a cosigner or not?
No.
No. Okay. And to stay away from, was it a park, Miller Run Park in Fairburn? I think I heard.
Yes.
All right.
It was,
Susan, I'm
it was,
sorry.
there wasn't a specific address. It was the street Miller Run.
Oh, just a
and
street. It wasn't in a park or anything.
I don't believe
Okay.
it was in a park, Your Honor.
Okay, so stay away from the Miller Run Street from that area, or whoever lives there, don't go to that street anymore. If anyone sees you there, or you're caught there, you can be rearrested. And hopefully you will find some programs, Ms. Green, to get him in, but I will give the signature bond through pretrial, and he will have some conditions with pretrial. I don't know about any classes or anything I can order through pretrial, unless pretrial tells me.
What kind of class?
I don't know.
He stay out of trouble. He'll be all right.
There's the class. How about that? Stay out
There
of
you
trouble.
go. I got one. And his uncle here used to work for the Department of Corrections.
Oh, well, he doesn't want to have to go to work with his uncle.
Oh.
Because they may not let him leave. So we just say, Mr. Green, get on the straight and narrow. You have people who care about you, and you have people who love you, and you have support, which a lot of people that come before me do not. So don't take that for granted. I could order you a curfew so that you're not out on Miller Run or wherever you're going to be doing the wrong things. So let me add in a curfew of 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And so the only time you should be out is going to work and coming back home.
Yeah, I go to work at 6:30. Usually the house around 6.
You go to work at what time?
I usually had to leave the house around 6:30 or earlier.
Oh, 6:30 in the morning?
I go to work at 7.
Okay, you leave before me. That's a good thing. So let me say 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Is that good? So you can leave out after 6, right? Or do I need to say 5:30 a.m.?
Nah, 6 is good.
Okay, 6 a.m. and you can be in by 11 p.m. Because if you're out past that, you're probably not doing anything good unless you're at the grocery store.
Okay, give me 12. My girlfriend, like, she go to work late at night. She goes to work at like 3 in the morning. Sometimes she want me to drop her off. So,
Well, you tell her you're on bond right now. You can't stop by.
No problem. Honestly.
Okay. All right. We don't want you to visit right now. I want you to stay to yourself and listen to your mom and your uncle and get in a program and they're gonna find you a mentor. And I don't need you to visit her at that hour. Bad things might happen. Okay, we don't want you to get in trouble or have any children right now. How about that? Okay.
Okay.
If you're out too late, I don't know what goes on at those hours, okay? Good luck to you all. Good luck to you, Jason. Take care.
I promise you won't see me back here.
Okay. All right.
You.
All right, you're welcome.
State, you mean let the PD go?
I'm sorry?
I think we heard from the.
I think she's good. Ms. Wills, I certainly apologize and thank you for reminding me. But it was a signature bond, so I don't think she has anything else to add.
No objection.
Next time, jump in and say, hey, John. That's okay. All right, thank you. All right, good luck to you all, Mr. and Ms. Green. I'll keep saying you're married, brother and sister.
Brother and sister.
Brother and
Thank
sister.
you.
All right.
Next, Your Honor, we have position number 6, Mr. Davin Guest.
Davin Guest, 23 CR 002323J, charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. Offense date April 13, 2023.
Fourth arrest, 2021 failure to appear, 2022 trespass, 2022 theft by taking conviction. You're on probation for that theft by taking. That's 22 SC 183914. That's it.
All right. State.
Yes, Your Honor, this offense took place yesterday, April 13, 2023 at 4255 Will Lee Road in Atlanta, Georgia. That is Welcome All Park. Officer responded to an email from the Welcome All Park staff stating the following, that the defendant had entered the secured area of a gymnasium at 5:30 in the morning. There, the staff conveyed to Mr. Guest, the defendant, that he could not stay there. He could not take up, he couldn't basically squat there. He left and then returned back, trying to use that area as shelter, and officers were called out. He had been previously told not to return back to that location. Your Honor, from just looking at his criminal history, it's seeming that there is a recency in the offenses, 2 prior criminal trespasses in 2022. Your Honor, the state is concerned about a risk of reoffending, but the state is willing to, because of the nature of the offense, to request a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, to stay away from the Will Lee Road, Welcome All Park, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Okay, PD Wills.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Guest is 28 years old. I would not have an objection to a signature bond. I would request that it be through the jail, as it may be a hardship for Mr. Guest to report to pretrial, based on some of the things we spoke about during our conversation. Mr. Guest is single. He has no children. He has lived in Georgia for the past 14 years. In our conversation, he told me that he was at the location to take a shower. He was not using it for shelter. That was not the purpose of him being there. He denies the allegations as alleged by the state. And in light of the charges, again, we are in agreement with the signature on bond, but we will request that it go through the jail.
And he won't be able to report to pretrial, you're saying? Is it a work schedule or just?
I believe it may present a hardship. In speaking with Mr. Guest, he states he does odd jobs, that he's basically living to survive at this point. So I don't want to add any additional hardships upon him.
But I want to make sure with this 2021 FTA, he comes back to court.
Yes, Judge, I understand.
I mean, he ain't gonna necessarily come back because he on pretrial now.
A pretrial does such an excellent job.
People come back from FTA. I mean, does he have anywhere to live?
Sounds like, is he residentially challenged?
He doesn't have a permanent residence, and he and I have spoken about that. And so I'm going to work on getting some resources to him. I'm not sure what Mr. Guest needs to say. You have a signature bond, Mr. Guest. There's really nothing that you can say that's going to make this better, only worse.
I mean, he on
I
probation.
didn't hear what type of signature bond it was, Your Honor. Is it through pretrial?
We were still discussing, no?
We're still discussing it.
Okay.
$3,000 signature bond through the jail. And Mr. Guest, I'm counting on you to return to court when you need to, when you get those dates, and to keep in touch with your attorney. Can you do that? I think he's talking and not listening to me.
He muted.
He may be muted on purpose to not hear.
Your Honor, I guess he wants to say something. He's adamant on letting the court know something. I don't know.
I don't know that I need to know that, Mr. Guest. Your attorney is really informing you to not speak about the particulars of your case. This is not your trial, this is a bond hearing. All I'm asking is, if I give you the signature bond through the jail, sign yourself out, and you promise to return back to court and keep in touch with your attorney. Can you do that?
Understood.
Okay, understood. Good. Good answer. And I want you to.
Public defender or someone I could talk to after this?
Yes, you will. PD Wills will call down there to speak with you, or they'll give you the information so that you can call when you get out. I want you to stay away from Welcome All Park, though. Stay away from 4255 Willie Road. Do not go. Huh?
I said that was my main concern. While I was there, I had my belongings with me. As I stated with the, I want to say Mr. Williams, I believe the arresting officer at that time, he instructed me, or he told me, or he didn't even say anything actually, and I was trying to communicate with him, hey, All right, hello, sir. I have my things with me, but none of my stuff was brought with me when I was arrested. So,
So are you stating that you may have some personal items there at Welcome All Park? So I need to order you a one-time
yes,
law enforcement escort to return there to retrieve those personal items?
yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Okay, I will do that, but remember, you cannot go back by yourself. You need to go
Okay.
back with the law enforcement officer, schedule that with them to get your items, because if you go back there by yourself, you will be rearrested and back here,
All right, understood. We'll do that.
okay? And then, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while you're on this bond, okay?
Understood.
All right, good luck to you.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Uh-huh,
Thank you, Judge.
all right.
You good. That's all we have in courtroom two, Your Honor. I believe
Is that
that's.
everybody?
That should be
All
everyone.
right, have a good weekend.
Your Honor, there was one
Position
waiver that I
13.
filed.
I'm sorry.
There was one case that I filed for a waiver of appearance.
Oh, is that 13?
I believe so.
Michael Sanford?
Yes,
Yeah, he did.
So he's had a waiver? Okay.
yes.
All right, let's do 13 real quick. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This is case number 23 CR 002317E, Michael Sanford. Charged with one count of giving false information to law enforcement and a second count theft of services, April 13, 2023, pretrial.
25 cycles. 2021 theft by taking, suspended license. 2022 failed to appear. Another 2022 failed to appear. That's it as far as the Georgia history. You got an 08 arrest out of Ohio. Also has history out of Virginia. 2011 revocation of suspended sentence. Conviction. Thought I saw a breaking. Yeah, 2012 breaking and entering conviction. 2013 failed to appear. Possession of a Schedule 1 or 2 controlled substance from 2016 conviction. 2016 failed to appear. Got identity fraud that was dismissed. The FTA was dismissed too. 2017 possession of a controlled substance. 2019 contempt of court. 2022 it says probation violation and a fugitive arrest as well from 2022, but the fugitive arrest was dismissed. Hold on. 2018 out of North Carolina, breaking and entering a motor vehicle that was dismissed, but he was convicted for misdemeanor larceny. 2021 possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of meth. The meth was dismissed. The drug paraphernalia was dismissed. 2021 obtaining property under false pretense, uttering forged instrument. Felony possession of a Schedule 2 controlled substance. Those were dismissed. That's it.
Okay. All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident took place on April 30th, 2022 at approximately 9:09 a.m. Officers responded to 133 Carnegie Way, which is the Courtyard by Marriott, to a theft of services call. Upon arrival, officers were informed that the defendant gave the hotel staff a card he knew would decline, but stayed on the property that night. Once officers made contact with the defendant, he gave officers the name of Michael Sanders, which is not his legal name. As Your Honor has heard, he is a multi-state offender, so the flight risk is extremely there. Just in 2021, most recently, he was in another state offending, Your Honor. Also, the multiple FTAs and the probation revocation also makes him a likelihood to reoffend. He is a convicted felon. Therefore, we would say that he's a danger to the community. Therefore, the state is asking at this time for a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 for each charge, and stay away from 133 Carnegie Way, no drugs, alcohols, or weapons.
All right, PD Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Sanford is 33 years old, and he has been, I mean, he's single, he does not have any children, and he was actually in jail about a year for about theft by taking. And this happened on April 30, 2022, before he was arrested and stayed in the jail for like almost a year, Your Honor. He has nobody who can pay for his bond. And of course, he's qualified for public defender services because he has no employment as he was in jail for a long time. Your Honor, we would like to request for a signature on bond, and so that way he can go back home, hopefully. Thanks.
Okay. I'm going to order a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I'm going to order a stay away from 133 Carnegie Way or the Marriott, Courtyard by Marriott. I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And I think that's it. Anything else, counsel?
What's the split on the shorter?
Oh, 1,000 each. I'm sorry, 1,500 each. So that totals 3,000. And I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah. That's it.
That is it, Your Honor.
Position 10. Was that?
Hold on a second.
Was position 10 supposed to sign off on jail or sure?
Let's see. Position 10, SOB jail. Mhm. Anything else before we reconcile with Mr. Jordan?
No.
Position 1 is a $3,000 sign off on jail. Position 2 is a 10,000 surety, reset SAP. Position 2 is a $2,000 surety bond.
3.
I'm sorry, position 3, reset SAP. Position 4 is a $2,500 sign on bond jail. Position 5 is a $3,000 sign on bond pretrial per judge. Position 6 is a $3,000 sign on bond jail. Position 7 is a $5,500 surety. Position 8 is a $4,000 sign on bond pretrial. Position 9 is a $5,000 surety bond. Position 10 is a $5,000 sign on bond jail. Position 11 is a $2,000 surety. Position 12 is a $3,000 surety. Position 13 is a $3,000 sign on bond jail. And position 14 is a $2,000 surety.
Any questions, corrections?
No, Your Honor.
I will not leave out PD Willis ever again.
Thank you, Judge. I know it's unintentional, and I know when to not say anything, so.
Okay, right, okay. But you know, pretrial is gonna take up for you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, have a good weekend, everybody.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye-bye.
good weekend, Your Honor.
You too.